Forge Captain Kyle Bekker and Mitch Houlahan bring you the Captain's Log on the Forge Audio Network.
The week of April 25th. You know what I just, this was the vid, but I actually don't have it. But remember that Stevie G dance? Yeah, Toure vid.
Colo Toure. What's going on with your eye there, buddy?
Honestly, my eyes, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this episode.
No, this is perfect.
But no, we'll get Dave to look that up. I just thought of it right before this.
Colo. That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they're like the team's having a big piss up. They're having a little celly. Stevie G's letting loose for the first time ever.
Yeah, like just coming through the lobby.
Yeah, unreal.
So we're kicking off a couple games into the season. We won't talk about the buried episodes.
The archives?
Yeah. Season 2 archives. But
The basement tapes.
Yeah. No, we should probably say right off the hop for sure that this is going to be a good one because we're talking to our guy.
Yeah.
Big first step.
Yeah. Former forger, all around legend. Beauty. I don't think anyone, you can't hate him. You just can't hate him.
No.
He's got the sweetest eyes you've ever seen in your entire life.
They'll suck you right in.
Terrible body. Awful.
Terrible body?
Oh, disgusting. Worst. Absolute bag of milk, that guy. But
No, I don't believe it.
Face of an angel. Sweetest man in the world. Formerly one of our own, Maxim Tissot.
Maxim Tissot going to be
Absolute
joining us.
wand of a left foot.
What do you want to talk to him about today?
We had some good times in San Fran. I think it'd be a nice little, if we could reminisce about some of those, guy. What a time. What a year.
I think the San Fran chats were probably one of the few things that we spoke about last season, like, that was good.
Don't even remember it.
That's why. It was just so good. Felt natural.
Off the cuff. As we do.
Those 5 minutes from all of last season, magical.
Outside of the first episode that was buried forever, which was possibly the greatest episode ever.
We have a lot of episodes in the closet.
I was going to make a very poorly timed joke.
We all knew you were.
That's growth, buddy. Not saying it. That's growth.
Yeah. I think the San Fran chats were just so. I mean, there's just so many good things. It was insane. It was a movie. It was like a movie.
Honestly, so going into the NASL, I was like, big old crossroads of the career. It's either I'm gonna find some joy in this and it's gonna be good for me, or I'm one and done, never playing again, packing it up. See you at Pine Glen playing men's league with the Oakville Villains. And honestly, it just exceeded the expectations. The group was unbelievable. Mark DeSantos, our coach, he was fantastic with everyone. I think it was an older group, which I think was real key in all of it. And it was just like, I don't know. There was just almost like a freedom where everyone was like, some guys had played in the MLS before, some guys had been sort of lifers in second division, like either NASL, USL, whatever it was. Some guys had played in Europe. We had a couple guys from Brazil come in, and it was just the older group just made it just easy. Like everyone's like, all right, we're going to come in, do our business, we're going to play well. And then honestly, there was just no rules outside of it. It was great.
Yeah, it was.
No one thought they were big time, which was the best part.
It was
truly lawless. There was so much good stuff. Guy, we're going to have to, I'll save it for Max.
Save it for Max. Save it for Max. Let's talk about, just because hot start to the year. We're sitting atop the table.
Tied atop the table. I think we're technically in second. Vancouver's got more goals.
Yeah, three tied. Yeah, three tied for first. Shout out to producer Dave for learning the team and getting into the Forge this year.
Yeah, we're making everyone forgers. That's what we do with this pod.
I love it.
We're just bringing everyone on board brick by brick. We're building this community up.
All right, let's get back to what we were talking about there.
Back to the York game. Was that ball out?
Ooh, yeah. That's one where any side you're on, That's just like you're dying on that hill. If they didn't call it out and we were York in that example, I'm losing my mind.
Yeah, I don't think there was any video that was like conclusive enough. We were standing like right like online, like we were, you know, the Forge fan section was like right there.
Yeah,
it looked real out like during the play. But everyone, it was like one of those things. There'll never be a definitive like. Anyways,
yeah, the third goal of the game really just puts a pin in it. If you're York, you're feeling hard done by. I think if they call it out, I'm going to argue on our side. Like Borges was clever. He was snuck behind there, and it was just like a heads up play. Chouanier was little Johnny on the spot, finished it, which was great. But yeah, I think it's a tough one either way. Hard. It's so hard to call in the moment.
Yeah.
It's like what was it, 2 years ago when we were playing in Ottawa and I went bar down and it was like 4 feet in the net, but I hit it from like 30 out. No one calls it. I think it's like from my point, I'm like, yeah, it's a goal every single time. But I mean, I'm shooting. I'm going to say that.
Yeah. I mean,
so we've been screwed by it before.
That's the old. Do you think VAR is going to come to the league? Have they talked about that?
I think it's only a matter of time before it happens. The biggest thing with me and VAR is like, it's great, but you still have to have a person like interpreting it. And if we don't have, I don't know if like every stadium in the moment is going to have the technology to do it as split second. It's like if we're just delaying the game, it's like, I don't know. I still kind of like that we're the only league that has the human error. It's the best.
Well, and like we've seen, like, I mean, there's been error. There's been human error with VAR. So like, would pick your poison like that. Honestly, if you could just get over like that bar down in Ottawa.
Did you see the
nice reference too with Maxi coming up?
Did you see that? Speaking of a VAR, like tough call. Did you watch any of that Coventry Man United semifinal in the FA Cup?
No, I didn't.
So United was up 3-0. Coventry just full comeback, added time. End of the game. Ball plays in. They go down. They score 4-3. The guy is legitimately offside by like half an inch.
Yeah.
And by the rule, he's offside. But it is so tight, and it spoils an all-time sport moment by something that I think everyone outside of being a United fan and taking the bias of like, oh, if you're a City or Liverpool, whatever, like you just hate United. Out of that bias, it's like you have to give it. You have to give it. And it would have been history. It would have been incredible. But Coventry are hard done by, and then United go through, and I think it was pens.
Yeah.
And it's just you take that little bit of that like special golden goal feeling out of it.
Yeah. I don't think that's better.
That's
feeling hard done by in the game, like someone made a mistake, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Dude, it's like those moments that you have, and this is the best part for me. Like sports is built around people in a bar going to watch the game, and then you have that thing that you're going to talk about. You're going to sit around and you're going to talk about. You're having drinks, you're having food, whatever it is. You're passionate about it, you care, and it's like it's a moment that is so definitive, and it becomes tough, and everyone's going to have an opinion, and it is what it is, and you're going to be. Sometimes you're going to be on the winning side, sometimes you're going to be on the losing side. But think back to even like your youth career and you're playing, and like those things it was the best. Like we got screwed all the time, but at the same time it was, I don't know,
it feels more a part of the game than going upstairs and like having and I just find with the VAR stuff in any sport, like you open it up and then it just becomes this thing of like, all right, well now we have to define it this way, and it just becomes so impossible to define all the rules now that like everyone, it's almost like we're sitting in a courtroom just finding nuances in the language of it, just to be like, nope, you got to change it again. You got to change it again. I think
every single year offside changes.
Yeah.
It's insane.
I think it's hilarious that like for all of the things that have happened in the past and every like refs, when have refs or leagues ever apologized for anything? And like now they're having to issue apologies for like VAR mess ups.
It's crazy.
So like,
and if anything, they've been given more leeway to just not even do their job because they're like, all right, I got a scapegoat. And this isn't a bash on ref thing. It's just like,
no,
they are a vital part of sports being good. Like
perfect. The benefit
you're
of the
looking at you're obviously a Leafs guy watching the the NHL playoffs that's going on last night, like the reffing in this series feels pretty questionable.
Oh yeah, no,
But it's
the fix is in for sure.
It's such a critical part of it. Like if you just stop the game and everything goes to video replay, it just, you take that spark out of the game, and playoff hockey is built on that. Like it's just everything is just so like just taken to a whole other level. Everything is just that much more critical, like the details, all these little things. And imagine it's just after every single play, it's like, oh, we called it. All right, we're just going to go to replay. Yeah. You take the sting out of everything.
Well, yeah. What's the best? I mean, all the best games, it's like the refs, you don't remember the refs. They're out of the way. Yeah. So they're too, they're putting focus too much with all this. And like, I mean, I think the biggest thing, like you said first, if it adds delays to the game,
yeah.
Like, I hate when it takes too long for like a ball to come back for a throw in. Like, get it going. So like if we're upstairs, there's just someone to watch a replay a bunch of times. Like, I don't know. So CPL is like actually one of the last without VAR.
I think so. Yeah.
You call it VAR?
I don't know. I just say it faster.
Yeah, it's definitely faster. Our guest is here. All right.
You can ask him how he feels about it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Pop him in. Max, we were just yelling about VAR. What are your thoughts?
You know what? I like it. I think it's good for the game. It's just the fact that they get wrong. That's bad. Like, if you have this technology, you have to get stuff right, and they don't. And that's the most frustrating thing with VAR. But I think it's good for the game. Mm-hmm. Just get it right 100% of the time. You have the technology to do it.
So what do you think about it coming to?
Yeah.
Go on. What do you think of it coming to CPL though?
I think it's going to be good. Like, you get the best refs in the world have this technology, and then refs that have other jobs and like they need it. You know, it'll help them so much. Like their job is harder without VAR, and I think it'll make everyone's job easier. Do you guys agree with that?
But, yeah, like well, we were saying. Well, my thing is like at the very basis of it, like us growing up, you're playing sports, like that human error was a thing we almost accepted, and you kind of like. And even when you're on the wrong side of it, like gives you something to talk about. You're all bitter about it after, but like it keeps you going. Like it adds to that like live and die sports feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. That's true.
Obviously in the moment, 100% when you're on the wrong side of it, like this is the stupidest thing ever. Like why every other league has it, why don't we have it? And you'd feel like it would clarify so much, but to your point, like they still get it wrong. And so if you're adding delays, if you're doing all that stuff, that just I think just adds a level of frustration. Like even thinking back to like the first years it was coming into the EPL, like the stops were outrageous. I feel like people were getting fouled on one side of the field. They were playing on for 5 minutes, and then a PK was getting called that everyone forgot happened. And it's like, yes, 100% you feel hard done by when you're on the wrong side, but when it just takes away from those little nuances in the game, I think it becomes very tough. And so I think I'm probably just being more nostalgic about it. And I do agree, like 100% it needs to come in and it will make everything better. But to your point, like they still get it wrong. And I think that will do my head in more than anything.
That's the big thing. Like, okay, so in 2022, when we played you guys at Forge and then all these scores that free kick, when it should have been disallowed because we had a guy that was within 1 meter of the wall, that causes chaos. And then everyone loses their mind. And then the next game, I get fouled in the box, no pen, probably because of that mistake, right? So it goes like, it transcends 2 games now, and it's just like, what are we doing? Where if VAR is there, that first goal is rightly disallowed, and then that second one is rightly a PK, and then we don't talk about it again, you know?
The craziest part to this, and this again, we're not here to bash the refs, but the same ref both those games.
Exactly. Like,
it's almost
a month apart.
You gotta ask yourself, was that in the back of the ref's head? And that's where 100% it becomes difficult. And you're like, okay, if this is here, takes all that away, takes all the bias away. It is what it is. It either was a PK, it either wasn't a goal because the guy was in the wall, and we move on. But
I mean, we were kind of spiraling there. I think Max came in at a good time because I can also agree with that 100%. I'm not a hard no VAR. He came in hot with just a
Look at this.
a great point.
He's Mr. Sensible guy. He always just comes in and just makes everything better. I'm over here just spouting out nonsense all the time, and he's just like, you know what, Kyle, just take a breath and think about it.
Didn't you say that before about Max too? Isn't that you're like at big games, it'd just be like, don't worry, we're gonna win.
All the time, guy.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when we'd be on the road. We'd wake up and I'm just like, I'm like buzzing. Like I can't, I'm like, I'm all freaking out about it. Not necessarily freaking out, but I'm clearly nervous. And I have said this before. Like I know the nerves is a good thing. I like that. But at the same time, you're antsy. You're waiting for the game. And this guy's just sitting there. He's like, buddy, what are you worried about? We're going to win. Like, it's fine, guy. And then the best part is he started taking the piss out of me all the time. I'm certain of this. Like, I don't know. You tell me, Max. But we'd like go down for breakfast. He's like, oh, dude, walked in. I knew that light was going to be on. It's a sign. We're going to win. Like, just say nonsense. And I'd be sitting there like, oh, man, Max, this guy, he's got a good feel tonight. We're going to win. Yeah, he's the signs guy.
So I don't think I'm superstitious, but like there's like things like that I would do, whereas like, okay, like if the next person that I see is like, I think it's going to be Eddie, and then it would be Eddie, I'll be like, oh, we're going to win 10-0, you know? But I was like that. It was weird. And then I would tell Max, I was like, Max, I have a good feeling this is why. And then I would tell him, he's like, shut the fuck up. Like, this is made up.
But at the same time, I'd be like, tell me again. Yeah, tell me again. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine, right? You're not worried about it.
We were hard on that in the PEI bubble.
Oh, like, dude, that was crazy.
The Cavalry game and before the final, hard on it, yeah.
You're just spotting signs all over the place.
Yeah, and then like where that came from is that in 2014, GSP came to talk to us when I was playing in Montreal, and he was big on this. Like before a fight, he was like super nervous, and he was like, I might get like my head bashed in. But it was like I would tell my whole team the whole day, like I feel great, like I'm gonna kill this guy. I feel great, and he didn't feel that way, but because he would tell everyone on his team, they would make him feel that way, and then he was like just ready to go. So like a bit comes from that, but yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah,
it's a little manifestation.
Exactly.
Well,
you're just like reverse psychology in yourself, though. You're like you're doing this. At what point are you like, I'm just making this up? But
dude,
there is
you were
nothing
feeling
worse.
Confident though. Like you were like, here we go. Like I'm gonna win next. You sure? Like
you were 100% in my kitchen,
and
I'm like, oh man, Max is he's seeing all the signs. This guy's crazy, but we're gonna win. I'm fully believing it. And meanwhile, you're probably over there like, this dumb idiot believes everything I'm saying.
Did you guys cross over at Montreal?
Oh yeah.
How long did you play together there?
Well, we play like a year and a half.
Yeah,
or probably a year.
A year. Yeah.
Half of 2 seasons. So like once I got there, we finished that season together in the first half of the next season, or probably more than that until you went to Ottawa.
Yeah.
Max, man,
Mitch, didn't we have a rip together? And don't you remember doing the scoop and hammers? And Maxie, what was that bar we would go to?
Mayfair.
Oh, buddy, Mitch, weren't you there on that trip when I gave the old middle finger picture?
Oh yeah. Classic.
We were both. Max, you remember that?
A stupid question for me. Yeah,
we turned that back corner of the Mayfair into like a swimming pool with all the scoop and hammers.
I remember that.
That was right before the Canada trip, no? Or that's another one.
No, that's another one. I think we were just there for who is
Max led that entire excursion. Everything.
Oh yeah.
You took us there, he took us everywhere that night.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, you guys definitely played in Montreal together. Max, you got some pretty good highlights from Montreal too, eh?
Yeah, a couple good ones, probably a lot of bad ones too. Well, yeah, I got one good goal that like 30. You remember that one, Bax?
The over the top.
The one in like 2013 when you on from like the left side.
Or were
you talking when we played together?
When we played together. Oh yeah.
Colorado.
Yeah.
Colorado at home. Oh, banger.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
Great celebration. I tried to rip your head off.
Oh yeah. A lot of people did. Holy shit.
That was the best. I was just in there like slapping your head. It was unreal.
But Dave, can you actually play the clip for us from San Francisco? Max, I don't know if you've seen this. When was the last time you've seen this? But
for expansion side, our first year to host the final at home, it's pretty big. It feels like the stars are aligning for us. Miami loses, and now all of a sudden we're hosting at home. So let's treat this game as any other game, not scared of going out there and pressing them. We need to play like all of our other games. The group is ready. Everyone that's been called upon this year has done great. We're ready for the challenge.
Kyle just watching those beautiful passes and warm up. And then Dave, can you show just a picture of the group photo at the end there of these two guys on the end? Look at this look to the sky. Yeah, we were just talking about the Deltas. That was such a not hilarious, but hilarious. The Soccer Bowl champions, San Francisco Deltas. The Twitter streamed San Francisco Deltas. Did you ever see clips of that? Did you see remember the commentators?
I only know it from the group chats coming back into games. Like, I didn't even know if I knew it was streamed on Twitter for a large portion of the season.
I had no idea.
Every game on Twitter, and the commentator was just like this. I don't know. I forget now. He's some wicked like Boston accent or something. But yeah, it was pretty good. What do you got from San Francisco?
That was unreal. So that interview was the only interview we ever did. Like, we never had any journalists at training. Like, nothing. And then we went to the finals. They were like, "Oh, let's go interview these guys." It was crazy.
God,
but like,
you cannot explain how much of like a made up season it was, but it was so perfect.
So good. I get there in May because I didn't start the year like there. And I knew Bex was there. I knew Mark DeSantos, the coach, from he coached me when I was really young. I knew Cal we met that was there, who just retired, by the way. Crazy.
Yeah.
It was just, and Andrea was our coach, an assistant coach who also coached me when I was young. Like, everything was crazy. And I remember the first night I got there?
Yeah.
Bex?
Oh yeah. It was just bizarre.
Oh yeah. So it was just great. Like everything. Like where we trained, like our travel, like the way we travel. Like, we didn't even train the day before the game. We just traveled across the country and then just win.
Okay, it's so good. I feel like your first day was quite similar to mine. I'm sure I've told you this, Max, but this just peak sums it up. So we stayed in Nob Hill which is an unbelievable area of San Francisco, like outrageous. The owners either bought or rented out like a 3-story walk up that 75% of our team lived in. So it was essentially like kind of like a frat house, but unbelievable location, like everything you could ask for. Crazy. I pull up, get picked up by the team manager, and he's like, "Oh, we're going to the practice. There's some sort of a meeting that you got to go to, and then I'll take you to the house, whatever. I'll get you all sorted out." Cool. The manager of the team was either still in university or had just finished university. So he's younger than I am, like younger than the majority of the team, because as I said, we had an older group. Great kid, unreal, nice as ever, but like just so young, never done anything like this before. Super green, super happy to be there. So drops me off. I hadn't met anyone I only knew Nana Adekora, Canadian guy. He was on the team at the time. So he's the only one I know. Pull up. They just finished training. And the locker room was a storage container, which was at this field, which is essentially like, for you to just like get an image of it, Mitch, literally like Pine Glen would be even doing too much justice. It was just one field that had a stand on one side. There was a Parks and Rec department that had like their head office out of there, and there was like these 2 old ladies who worked there and like took their jobs incredibly seriously. So we pull up and I walk into the locker room, and I had known none of this. My agent at the time, he never told me any of this. He was like, "Oh, it's a great setup. Don't worry, you're gonna be good. You're taken care of." So we pull up. Guy, the locker room was run on solar panels. It's gray as shit in San Francisco. We didn't have power in the locker room like until June. So like we had all of this stuff, but none of it worked. And it was just a freeze. And then the showers were like in the old. So, guy, perfect. It was like old Bronte Park, Mitch. Just so you, like, it was right there.
Yeah.
So, guy, we had the storage container, but you had to walk outside to use these 3 showers in this old school change room, like public change room. They gave us like robes to wear back and forth so we didn't get freezing. Because you were outside for like, it was like a 50-yard walk to the shower. Unbelievable stuff. So like they give us the meeting, whatever, and then I'm just sitting around, and like some of the boys are finishing lunch. I'm like, all right, man, like, is this guy gonna drive me to the place? Like, I gotta get my shit settled. Like, I'm tired. Like, I want to get ready. Let's get this thing going. Like, an hour goes by. Luckily, there's like 1 or 2 stragglers there. Danny Cruz, legend, coach at Louisville, I think right now. Is he still there, Max?
I think so.
Coach of Louisville. He just seen me around. He's like, Bex, like, what are you doing here, man? I was like, I don't know. I'm just waiting for Mitchell to drive me to the place. Mitchell literally left. He forgot about me. He's like, I had another meeting. I don't have phone service or anything. So this guy calls Mitchell. He's like, dude, where are you at? He's like, oh, I forgot to take Bex to the apartment. Okay, can you just take him to the hospital to do his medical, and then I'll pick him up from there and I'll get him all sorted out. Like, all right, cool. So Danny drops me off at the hospital with all my shit. Like, don't have anything. So like, go to the hospital, whatever, do the medical. I come back out. Mitchell said he's going to be there. No one's there. Nothing on my phone. I'm like, Mitchell, guy, where are you? He's like, oh, I actually just went home. So you could just like get an Uber there. Look, dude, take an Uber to the apartment. Got a Brazilian guy who's living in there with me at the time. He was just staying there until he was getting a new place. Doesn't speak a lick.
Jackson?
No, it was Rainier. Doesn't speak a lick of English. Guy, there's nothing. Like, there's just nothing on anything. This guy'd been there for like 2 months. There's no shower curtain. There's no it's just carnage. I'm like, all right, but there's no bed sheets on anything. So I'm like, dude, what? I was like, all of this stuff. I was just like, all right, what is going on? There's no Wi-Fi in the place. Can't even talk to anyone. Carnage. Next morning, we get in a bus and we drove to Reno for our first like preseason game, and I was like, all right, man, here we go, carnage. But it was turned out pretty good.
Listen to this. The Deltas promised to bring tech-inspired innovations to the sport, including a virtual reality fan experience and artificial intelligence ticketing system, none of which
Come on. Are you serious?
Yeah, and then they wanted to run the club like a tech startup, leading to some of the most convoluted, these are in quotes, convoluted and confounding series of choices in American soccer, including hiring a director of marketing who admitted she had, in quotes, no business being the director of marketing of anything, really, let alone for a professional soccer team in one of the world's greatest cities.
Toledo.
Hey, what was the story about the guy with the
Oh, dude. Bex, I told this story to the guys on the team last week. They couldn't believe it. I wasn't there for that. Thank God. You gotta tell it.
Oh my God, dude, this is honestly, I'm so happy I lived through this because it's, looking back, it was just iconic. I think is Miguel with LAFC now, or he was for a little.
He was.
Yeah.
Mitchell was as well.
Yeah.
Who you were speaking about, who forgot you, but I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So Miguel, again, unbelievable. I think he was finishing his degree at the time, and he just wanted to be involved in sports in one way or another. Like, just loved it. And so he's like, yeah, I'll sign up to be the kit man. Again, like, this kid was an all-time legend. And so speaking about the locker room that we had, because of the field was grass, the weather was whatever, and the Parks and Rec department was incredibly serious. Guy, half the time they wouldn't even let us train on that field. They're like, no, you can't use it. It rained yesterday, so you're gonna rip it up. So we would have to we had 2 like 12-seater vans, and we'd have to drive to a turf field to go train, like, on a whim. Like, we didn't really know what was going on. So old Miguel, legend. No one really kind of fessed up to who told him what, but somehow, lost in translation, this guy, every day, bless him, he was given just like a sack of quarters because he would go to a laundromat and do all of our laundry because there was nothing on site. So he would literally pack up all the crap, towels, robes, all the gear from training, take it to a laundromat and sit there for hours, do a school at the same time. And then someone found out about it and was like, oh, bro, like, what's like, how long does that take? And he's telling him whatever. He's like, oh, like, why are you doing it with he's like, cut time. Don't do it with towels. And he was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you don't have to wash the towels, is what he was saying. So a couple weeks go by, and somehow it comes out. This guy was just talking in passing. It was like either someone smelled the towel or something. It was like, dude, this smells like it's still dirty. Like, what's going on here? It was like folded up, dry in his locker. And he's like, oh, that's because I don't wash them. I just dry them. Everyone was like, what? And then like half the team had left at that time. So then it goes into the group chat, and we had a team group chat with like every single member of staff. I'm pretty sure there was like front office people in it, and people lost their fucking minds. It was like, I'm washing my face with the towel this guy's cleaning his boots and his ass with. Are you fucking like losing their? It went on for so long. People were I thought the team was gonna fold in that moment just because the sweet Prince Miguel. Somehow, I think it was someone was saying don't
just a full season.
I think
of
someone
sweat.
was saying don't dry them, like bring them back and hang them. And he took it as don't wash them, just dry them. And so there was no number on a towel. You got like, every single day I come in from the outside, and as I said, like it was solar power, so it was dark and grimy and wet, and like I'm coming in from outside every day. I would shower and then I'd wash my boots with my towel. It's like someone's washing their face with this. Unbelievable. So
to be fair, if I'm that guy, you're running late a couple times, I can see, just like, throw in a couple dryer sheets. Hopefully no one notices. But this is going on for months.
It was unbelievable. People lost their mind. Like, we had a shout out Kenny Tissot, all-time Dutch left back. Hilarious. Big personality. He was my roommate, and I honestly thought he was going to quit in that moment. It was like the final straw for him at that time. He lost his mind.
I have everything else, but then the towels happened.
Well, dude, we're just starting. Hey. That was early in the season. Like Max said, he wasn't even there yet. And we're just peeling the onion back on the stories from this team, man. It's too much.
What a time. Hey, Max, you got anything on one of my favorite players, Tommy Heineman?
Dude, say what you will about Tommy. He was like that penalty, in the final. Like he came out big for us. That was the craziest thing to me. Like during warm up, we would always do 2-touch. Like everyone, except for Tommy. He would just tie his boots and then just stretch on this. You remember this, Pax? Would never
what about we do passing too? And the passing would be all intense. He would just be like, I'm stretching on the side.
Yeah. I think he just couldn't do it. Like he couldn't play 2-touch. So
he'd see himself he wouldn't do 5v2 either, like nothing. Like he would not start training until
5v2, sorry, not 2-touch, 5v2. Yeah. Always on the side. He would never do it.
Yeah. Just do it like some band work. He was just like, nah, that's not for me. But it's not like
yeah, the guy knows his strengths.
Guys, I'm right there with you, Maxie. Say what you want about the guy, but he scored goals, and he was huge for us, man.
Oh yeah,
he was.
He was huge.
Yeah,
and then great. Like a one-on-one down the line, he's like winning the ball or winning a foul, and because we were up most of the time, like wasting 5 minutes yelling at the ref and just going crazy.
Yeah,
like he just
Honestly, playing against Tommy would suck, dude. He was the worst.
Oh yeah,
because he was a good old religious boy. He would not swear, and I'm sure that would just eat people up. And the guy knew how to throw an elbow. Like he had a little bit of dirtiness to him. Like he's a big boy. Like he'd throw his body around. Like just a handful to play against. So annoying for sure. Like just looking all like haggard all the time. And then he just pops up in the box and scores. Huh?
Yeah, off the field, the nicest guy.
Genuinely one of the nicest people. And
probably one of the nicest person I've ever played with. Like crazy. Yeah.
Wait, Mitch, funny that you bring him up. Here's an all-time story from that season. Do you remember when Kenny found that magazine on the old bleachers before practice?
Was I there for that?
You had to have been, 'cause I think it was towards the end of the season. So, as I said, funny little stadium, like just like essentially a public park. we pull up one morning and just like on the bleachers right outside the locker room, there was just this real haggard porno mag just sitting there. So Kenny decides to cut up all the pics and tape them in Tommy's locker. And Tommy walked in and he snapped. What kind of sick joke is this? Are you kidding me? Literally was like, I'm not training. There's no chance. He's like, this is the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm not training. Just couldn't handle it. Kenny was pissing his pants, guys. Unbelievable. Oh, absolutely.
Also, being that mad and not swearing is just impressive
like,
too.
Obviously, we don't shy away from the old swear words now and again, which is nothing to brag about. But me having a conversation with Tommy and Tommy's just dropping in a frickin', I would lose my mind. the amount of times in a game, because I would play as a 10 under him, and he's running around. He's like, I can't even get the frickin' ball, man. Looking over my shoulder, having a giggle every time. Oh, it was the best. Come on, Tom.
Just a good
frickin' in the right point. And then a nice heated game is unbelievable. It gets me every time.
Good stuff. Max, are you watching hockey playoffs at all?
Oh yeah, I got the Lightning and Panthers on right now.
What's the score?
Yeah, it's 2-2 last I checked. I think it's end of the second now.
You think Tampa's going to be able to steal one?
I had Tampa to win the series,
Ooh,
I hope so.
That Bobrovsky save the other day was out of control.
On Dumbo, yeah, unreal.
That's just
how do you guys feel about the Leafs?
Buddy?
Not great.
Yeah.
No, Mitch, tell us how you really feel, buddy. You were a little heated last night, weren't you?
I used the GSP method and just tried to tell myself everything was great. And I was really manifesting some positivity going into yesterday, and then no, they took it all out of me. I'm done,
buddy.
Already? After game 3?
No, I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Back Saturday.
I'll be back by next game. That's the life cycle of a Leafs fan.
Yeah,
but you're done, and then a day later.
Speaking of the offs, though, Max, you remember in that second bubble when we were in Winnipeg? And,
oh yeah.
And Montreal had that iconic run.
Yeah.
That was.
They haven't.
Yeah. That was in the bubble.
Yeah.
It was a second bubble when we started the season. Haven't been the same. The city's still recovering, guy.
Oh yeah.
Dude. Yeah, Mitch. That was the second bubble. What was that? 2022? 21, sorry. 21. Start of the season. We did it in Winnipeg. And it was during the playoffs. Guy, I was rooming with Max. It was iconic. This guy was losing his mind. Hey, do you remember when they're going into the finals? And like, if they win, like I'm going home. I'm leaving. I'm leaving the bubble. There's no chance
I can't be here.
He's like, this is crazy. The fact that I'm even still here is ridiculous. I need to go home. This guy would literally be sitting on the edge of the bed, just staring at me like, Max, like I'm serious. Like I'm leaving. Like I need to be there. This is ridiculous. It was the best ever.
I remember Boz like trying to make fun of me, like, "Hey Max, what's going on with the Habs when they just lost?" And I lost it on them. Like, Boz, shut the up. It's no joke.
This is life or death. What are you on about? Oh man, that was the best. That's like dude, our kit man right now, Joe Hanley, all-time beauty, heartbeat of the club. He is Mitch. He is a diehard Leaf fan, and I'll tell you, there's been a couple years after just a heartbreaking first round exit where I genuinely didn't think we were going to get Kit for the next month. Like he would just be sitting there, like just staring into the distance, like, Joe, how you doing today? He's like, this fucking team, man.
just dead eyes.
But on the other side, guy leading into a playoff, leading into the playoffs, pulling up, having a morning coffee with the Sports Center on, and Joe's there just buzzing about the boys, how he's feeling about it. It's the best. As you said, it's just the life cycle of a Leaf fan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Max, as great as it was having you here, I think it's cool that you're back near home.
Yeah.
and killing it. How's it been? How's it been going back? How's Atlético going? How's everything looking this year? What's it like, guy? You're back in the hometown. You're doing it up for Ottawa Gatineau.
Yeah, things are good. Obviously it's kind of tough to leave, but like it was always going to be like when that decision came at the end of the 21 season, like it was either staying at Forge or going back home. Like there wasn't any other option. But with, my family being here, my friends, my other job as well, it just made more sense to come back. And I didn't know if that opportunity would come later on as well if I had decided to stay at Forge. So it's been good. Like we had a good run in 22, lost to Forge in the finals. Then 23 was a bit tougher, but I think the club and the staff have learned a lot from those mistakes, and we have a good team on paper. Now we gotta make it work. Now we gotta make it gel. Beck's great comment. A week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle made it into the old Ottawa system.
Did he?
With the interview about old Bobski. Yeah, that was good. But no, that comment, man, it's like, what do you want me to say here? It's
what, like my thing is, why are they asking you that?
What was it?
What,
also,
day before your game?
Yeah. Also, the other part of it that like is like the bigger part of my point, and I think you knowing me understand where I'm coming from. It's like, yeah, you guys were in the finals, and then you came in 6th. What are you gonna not get new players?
Yeah,
of course. And you got the backing of Atlético. Like you're expected to be successful. Like if you don't get new players, what are you doing? Like you have to make a push for it. So it's like part of it was there's obviously a good little chirp in there. I'll have a little fun, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, duh.
No, Athleti's making some good moves. I got to give a shout out because there's a nice little Carleton contingent there with Quasi and Debrienne, and now Picholi I saw just got signed. So I think that'll be big for sure for the soccer community in Ottawa. A couple local guys doing it up like yourself. I think it's cool that you're there for them and you're leading the team. I also just had to mention that my parents have seasons. I think you've run into them there.
Times. Yeah.
And like my mom literally only goes because she met you at that like meet and greet. She's like, now like I've met Max, so like it's fine. I can go to a game. I can be like, yeah, Max is there.
But like to touch on like the Carleton guys and Quasi, who's our assistant coach. Like I think CPL like has to gravitate towards that a little bit. Like Forge does it obviously because of Sigma, but like Ottawa didn't have like anything in place to do that. But like we have like myself, Mateo, Chris Twardek that we brought that's from the area as well. Like you need local players to play in local markets. And I think you're going to see more and more of that in CPL, and you have to build like your team with that. Like, and Ottawa's done a good job. We have 5 local guys now, and I'm sure like in years to come, we'll have, like emerging talent from the area to play with the team as well. But that's what you need to do. And I think that's what CPL needs to bank on a little bit.
For sure. And I mean, similar to Forge too, Kyle,
sure.
Like how, Bobby and Costa have such a, they know the pulse of youth soccer in the area. Quasi's like that in Ottawa. Like he's all over it. So he knows the talent. He's coached a ton of people in the area. I think you're 100% right. It's going to be exciting seeing a lot more local guys.
It does so much.
And
it does so much for the community when you have that local guy that, regardless of what he's done, like once you have that, then there's like that sense of like, oh, this guy is one of ours. And whether you're a diehard, it immediately connects the community to the team, which is just huge. And then obviously you have a guy like a caliber of yourself who's played where you've played, and you come in, it just like it speaks just bigger volumes, I think. And then I think that pushes the younger guys. So then you have guys who are coming in from Carleton, as you said, Mitch. It's huge. And then you slowly but surely create the pipeline, and then all of a sudden you see little things start coming in place. And you touched on it. It's for the CPL to keep going. Like we're still a startup league. Like it's still a startup company. Yeah, certain places had things in place. Like Calgary had the Foothills, which is huge. We obviously had the connection through Sigma, which is massive, but now you're going to see like places like Ottawa, you're going to see places like Halifax and Winnipeg start to blow up these little pipelines and create these things that guys can come in and showcase their talent at a younger age, and the doors will be open, which is, I think that's the biggest part. And you're just going to see that grow and grow, as you said.
Yeah. And we have like young kids that have been training with us for a couple years now that are like slowly getting groomed, and maybe they'll go to university or do something else, but like they'll always have this and maybe come back to this one day. Like it's good. And you need that. Like, we have they're good, man. Like the kids that are training with us are good, and like they could amount to something. So it's cool to see.
Obviously, and too, being a former Canadian youth player, it's like we have talent in this country, but the importance of opening that professional door at a younger age. So guys who, let's say they have potential and they have talent that can come in and test themselves and see what it's like to be a pro day in and day out at 16, 17 years old is huge, because so many of them, like we see it, like you get to this point and there's that almost like unknown of which way am I going to go? Like, am I really going to go all the way for this? Am I really going to try and be a pro? Am I going to go to university? Are the people who are looking out for him really going to send him to a university that's actually going to give him the best foot to go, or the best chance to go forward? Like, so many people are like, oh, I'm going to go to university. And it gets a bad rap because you ultimately end up in a place where it's not even a good fit for you. So your development just stops. You're a part of something, and yeah, it's great. Like, you're still technically playing, but you go from being this guy with a ton of potential to just, you're kind of just flapping in the wind, which is so difficult. And it's like a thing we've seen so many times. Like, think back to how many guys you've probably played with growing up. You're just a ton of talent, but some just didn't either have the right people or the right opportunity to push them into that next level. And now that we have the CPL, like, it's so much more important than I think people understand, because there is just that many more doors open to the professional game for the Canadian youth coming up.
Yeah, 1,000%. Like you for sure grew up with guys, Bex, that like had, like, if CPL was around, or like more professional clubs were around, like they would have stuck at least have a year or two with the pros and see how that goes, and then go from there. But there were so many, like, it was so restricted. There was 3 MLS clubs, 3 Canadian clubs, and then like if you're not part of that at 18, 19, then you have to go overseas, and then like that's tough.
And I even think about the guys who not necessarily had like the most talent I played with, but the guys who just would have been like ultimate professionals and just would have done anything to get it. As long as the door was open, they would have gone in and crushed it. And I think you're actually seeing a handful of those guys right now across the CPL who've just, for sure, maybe they were overlooked for a very long time, but they've just got their foot in the door and they're like, all right, screw it, I'm going to take this chance. I'm giving everything I have for it. It is what it is. They're not necessarily like banking on this as everything. They're just like, all right, like, I have this, I'm going to do it. I think about a few guys that we have on our team. Like, they have unbelievable educations, but they have this and they're willing to put it all out on the line for this for a few years. And if it doesn't work, they're totally fine to just pack up and walk away.
Yeah.
Which is huge.
Yeah.
Crazy. Make a name for yourself in your own community and just be a legend.
All right, Max. May 25th, we're going to see you up in Ottawa.
Ooh.
We're looking forward to that. I think we're there a couple times, May and June or July or something, and then you're down this way. But we'll definitely see you for those weekends.
Oh yeah. Are you coming, Mitch?
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, for sure. I'll be there.
Podcast on the road.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
We'll set something up. One of those classic Hull bars where I'm sure you frequented as a high school lad. What were the legendary ones there?
They're still around. It's the same ones. Yeah, essentially. If I say the names, will you remember them?
Yeah, for sure.
Kadrudzi?
Well, maybe not the French ones. Where did all the where did all the 16-year-old like university students cross the old bridge to go?
Well,
what were they called?
Well, were they going to those bars, or like because there was like bars and nightclubs, and then the nightclubs just would shut down every couple of years and then just rotate.
Yeah. Like those the shitty nightclubs.
Yeah, I don't remember those. We're more bar guys.
Me neither. All right. Well, anyways, I'm looking forward to seeing you on those weekends. And anything else?
All good. Maxie, thanks for coming on the show, buddy. Just a pleasure to chat with you.
Pleasure.
Legend.
Yeah.
Should we
we're gonna have you
tell
back,
that Rainier story? Remember that one, Bex?
The one from New York?
Definitely should.
No, the one with the DM.
Yeah, that was when we were in New York, though.
Oh, we were in New York for that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, fire it off. That is one of the best ones of all time. Perfect way to sign off.
So you'll have to maybe help me out with this one, Bex, but we come into to training like the weekend after a game. I guess we were in New York, like Bex said.
Yeah.
And you can see Rainier is like not well. So we're like, what? Like, and he like Beck said, he doesn't speak a lick of English, right? So he's having someone translate this for us. So he's saying it in Portuguese, then the guy's like assimilating the information, dying of laughter, and then telling us, right? So story was, we're on the road. This guy on Instagram DMs a girl, starts talking with her, whatever, tells her like, she's good looking, all this good stuff. And so he's telling this, and it's like, so he starts the story off like this. So he says the first part, he's like, hey, I DM'd this girl, whatever. So the guy that translates for us tells us, like, okay. And turns out it was fucking Mark Dos Santos' wife.
Yeah, it was iconic because he literally, dude, so he tells us, like we come into the locker room, he's like just pacing. He's like, I'm dead. Essentially, what he's saying is, it's all getting translated. He's like, boys, this is all she wrote. Like, you guys will never believe this. This is crazy. I think Mark's gonna kill him. I'm like, what the fuck did this guy do, man? Like, and he's a wild card. Like, just tons of energy. Like, great guy, just bouncing off the walls always. So he starts, as he's saying, he's like doing the thing. So he like shoots his shot on DM. They start having a little conversation, and it's all like super innocent. And then it just like, it clearly just went on like one too many lines. And
I'm sure she was answering like one of my husband's
so basically, I think he like asked her a question, and she was like, "Are you serious? Like, is this not a joke? Like, do you know who I am?" And he's like, "What?" And so the guy who was translating was actually his roommate. And so he got the message back like, I'm Mark's wife. I'm here because the family lived in Montreal, and they were up in New York visiting for the game. So clearly that's why she like popped up on the Explore page. And literally he got the message and apparently like threw his phone across the room and he's like, I'm fucked. Like, I'm dead.
Yeah,
and so he was waiting, and then Mark sends him a message. It was like, I need to speak to you. And he was like, oh, I'm done. This is it. He like didn't know what to do. He was freaking out, and like they were real close and everything. So then he calls him in, and apparently Mark played it up like just such a legend that he is. Was all serious and like,
yeah,
you know, like what the like, what are you doing, buddy? Like, who do you think you are? He's like, you're so dumb. Like, what's wrong with you? Sends him on his way, and he's just, dude, when he was relaying it, because it was literally like watching a ping pong match. Like, we're like over here looking at this guy for the translation, we're looking at him. It was unreal. The whole squad, we were just pissing ourselves. Unbelievable.
The delays and the translation almost
and
makes
you tell him that you have to be the most animated you've ever been. Like, it was just perfect.
What a locker room tale.
Oh yeah,
someone coming in with a story.
That was a good Monday for sure.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, let's wrap it up. Let's just finish here. I can't get much better than this.
All right, boys.
Maxie, thanks for coming out. Everybody, thanks for listening.
Thanks for the invite.
Maxie.
Yeah, we'll do it again.
Sounds good.
Later, buddy.
Take care, guys.
This was The Captain's Log with Kyle Bekker and Mitch Houlahan. The guys will drop another episode sometime, whenever they get to it. In the meantime, we would love and appreciate for you to like, follow, subscribe, click on the little bell, do all the things in all the places you get entertained, and you'll find more of this type of content. And that also means we get to spend more time together on the Forge Audio Network.